Got it.
That's good.
Got it. I'm trying to put down. Mainly to for you. Good afternoon. Let's call to order the May meeting of the regular Board of Commissioners meeting for the Housing Authority of the Birmingham District. We'd like to start with a roll call. Commissioner Lewis,
Here.
Commissioner Barnes,
Here.
Commissioner Hood, here, Vice Chairman Thompson. I believe Vice Chairman Thompson is on a flight and will no longer be on the Zoom today, but she may pop in if time permits. And Chairman Fantazis is here, so we have a quorum, I believe. Having one, I'd like to move to adopt the agenda or entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as circulated. If any of the commissioners would like to do so.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda stated.
Any second?
I second.
All in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is adopted. Moving on to the consent agenda, which has been previously circulated and includes the items A, B, C, and D as printed in our general agenda. Are there any items, having had time to review the consent agenda, that my fellow commissioners would like to remove from the consent agenda? Having heard none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
There a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. The consent agenda is approved, and we will move into old business. Any old business?
I have one item, if I may. For please of the board, I would like to request Kelly Gamble to come forward to provide a presentation on our vacant lots.
Sounds great.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. Good day, Board of Commissioners.
Afternoon.
Ms. Foster, staff of Housing Authority Birmingham District, our neighbors in the room and our neighbors on Zoom.
That right.
What I wanted to do is present a bit of an update on some mapping activities that the Strategic Initiatives Department has been doing with some vacant lots and giving you kind of an update on how that's been going. Housing Authority Birmingham District's current inventory of vacant lots is right at 281 and growing. HABD's footprint of properties with structures and without is extensive and spread throughout the city of Birmingham. There are a variety of names that the research of property that HABD owns comes up as: Housing Authority BHAM, Housing Authority of, HABD, Housing Authority Birmingham District are just a few. There are a ton of other names that are coming up as we continue to do this search. Strategic Initiatives has recently met with Cameron McCurdy, Mr. Michael Wade, and Mr. Dustin Wade with the City of Birmingham's GIS department to add some existing base maps. I have some maps that I want to circulate to you. If it pleases, I can bring those to you so you can have a look at them.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Awesome. Just.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Perfect.
Yeah. What you have in front of you, and I understand they're very small and kind of difficult to read, but there are existing sites for Housing Authority of Birmingham District properties, rental assistance demonstration sites, RAD conversion sites. The choice neighborhood sites is on that map as well too, as well as the units that we're looking to transition folks into home ownership with over in the Tuxedo, Fountain Heights, and Macon City communities. There's also some general asset mapping in there with respect to parks that are close to housing authority sites, as well as the airport. So there's some real baseline general mapping that's already occurred. What Ms. Foster has communicated that she'd like for me to do is take this same map and send it to you electronically. And that's the game plan, so that you'll be able to blow it up at your office at your convenience, so you'll be able to get a much better sense spatially of where all of these properties are throughout the city and where they are in relation to each other. So the conversation that we had yesterday with the folks from the team at GIS was to add to this base map. And what we're looking to add is going to be information like school systems, active Birmingham City. We want to add information with respect to transit data as well too, which ones are on super sites, where they have bus stops that are close to them, as well as land bank eligible properties as well too, and property that the city owns. And the purpose for that is kind of twofold. Identifying contiguous parcels can potentially be combined for large scale residential and or commercial development. And then in those kinds of spaces, we can bring a lot more scale to a particular community, a particular development, or particular redevelopment plan. And then, of course, an interagency agreement between the Land Bank Authority and the Housing Authority. And so after our conversation yesterday, the GIS team communicated that the requested overlays to those maps that you have now will not take long to generate. And so once I have them, I've committed to sending those out to you as soon as possible. I'll send them to you electronically, but chances are, in order for you to really be able to appreciate them, they're going to probably be rolled up and they're going to probably be really, really big. So we can have a much deeper conversation with respect to potential uses of what those properties and those parcels are going to be. Aside from that, I think we'll continue to engage with the GIS team and of course other partners like the Land Bank Authority, Mayor's Office, Board of Education, Transit Authority. And so we're going to continue researching and identifying where HABD has vacant property throughout the city. There's 281 units, this 281 parcels that we have right now, that's just scratching the surface. And so we'll do a deeper dive. And as we continue to identify more, we'll make sure we keep this body informed. And I'm open for any questions that you may have.
Commissioners, I will entertain any comments you guys have first, and I've got a couple thoughts afterwards. If you.
I'm excited. I know this has been a long time in the making. I'm glad to see this. Love to see it electronically as soon as possible. And do you have any feeling on when we might see the next iteration of this? I know you said this is just scratching the surface. But.
Yeah, Cameron and his team said it wouldn't be long. And so I'm hoping that not too long, could be at the end of the month, maybe first week in June. Yeah, I think the only person that they're waiting to hear back from was somebody from the Birmingham, Jefferson County Transit Authority. I think that's the only data that they said that they couldn't collect in-house. They have all the school system data. Of course, they have the land bank data. They have the parcels where the city has an ownership stake in them. They have that information right there on the second floor. It's just a matter of getting the transit data. And I think that's really important for us to be able to appreciate as we begin our redevelopment strategies with Madison City Housing Development Corporations and any entities thereof, that we'll have to take that into consideration as we're figuring out how we want to best position our assets going forward.
And I was just saying specifically on understanding what we actually own, not just all the other stuff that other people own, but what we own, so that we can feel 100% certain that
We know.
we have 100% census of what we own.
Well, once that true baseline map with all just of our items, all our vacant lots is available, I'll make sure I provide that to the board as well too. Yeah,
Because we already have a work in progress map that is available that outlines what we own. So we can go ahead and start presenting that. It just, as we continue to do our research, we're adding to it. So that information can be available now.
So I guess for clarity, I know he said we kind of scratching the surface with this. So are we waiting for title reports to come back or something like that so we can produce, I guess, so we can get a number of how many we own? Or is this the actual number of how many we own and we just waiting to add extra data?
we're waiting. That's the number that we own. We're waiting to add extra data.
Okay, so it's no additional properties that we're waiting to find out if we have title to. Okay.
Oh, that's what I was asking. Okay.
There's also a spreadsheet available. I'll be happy to share out as well too.
So that was going to be one of my follow-ups was, do we have, obviously, the map is what I've been kind of wanting to see for a while now, but obviously from an inventory perspective, a spreadsheet format, I think would be helpful in any sort of, how is this property listed on the deed? Kind of, I think down the road that if you're already doing this work, just having it all out there, which sounds like you are, would be very helpful. And then like kind of as the consumer part of me, as I'm thinking about this, obviously we're in a different space, but you know, are there photos of say what the property looks like that if you
There are some with photos, with structures, and some that are pictures of vacant lots.
well,
I'll be happy to share those with you as well.
okay, so if you were to say like go to the spreadsheet and then click on say a link there, we
Does
could
not
see-
have that functionality to the spreadsheet, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would it do it on the map?
Not this map because this is strictly a
It's just
PDF, but I would imagine that the GIS map that is produced by the city would have that functionality to it to where they could tie it back to a photo.
I
I
think,
could ask them if they could provide it one that could do that.
and I'm thinking about how we speak with our residents and our partners about what we're doing and what certain sites look like and what they may look like in the future, or how we may, you know, position it. So I think having that sort of work done while you're doing this might be helpful too.
Very good. Very good.
On this map, I guess, I know it's showing us areas, but the map, is it gonna actually show the houses too? I mean, where they lay on the map or no?
Hopefully the next iteration could give us structures and vacant parcels as well.
Gotcha.
I just don't want it to get too cluttered too quick.
Yes. So I'll say this though, even if it's not on this map, I do feel like we need to put together electronic or something, some type of binder or something with everything in it. I've seen other organizations that's not aware of what they own, and when different boards come about and different staff, they're just lost. So I even recently had an organization come from 10 years ago. Hey, can you tell us what we own? And I don't want that to be us.
Understood,
Mhm.
understood. Well, we'll be very intentional at pulling that information together and making it available to the body as requested.
Well, I think this is great. We appreciate
Yes,
the team's
thank
hard work on
you.
this.
Thank you.
This is good.
Mhm.
One last question. Have we considered a retitling project to make sure that we have a uniform title name for everything that we own? Now that we know what we own?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. And yes.
Sounds expensive there.
It's
Does sound.
and
good.
it's
The
housing
attorneys in the room.
authority,
Just hearing it.
Expensive.
But it
Yeah.
needs to be done because the correct legal entity needs to
Right.
be in that name.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
One last request on this. We've been doing some really productive work sessions on quarterly. I think adding this along with some site visits would be very helpful in kind of the context of when you kind of get the finished product in hand.
That'll work. Well, even if we have something that's ready for you, maybe the next work session that we have, however far we are down the road, we're gonna give it to you.
Okay.
How's that?
Yeah, and I think that way we can, you know, ask more questions and you can make some of the other things you come across, we can talk about.
Just bear in mind, these map files can be kind of big.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
And
Good
we're
to go.
doing internal visits now so that we can identify some of the areas that we feel is very important to be seen on the tour in the next session.
That's great. Thank
For
you.
your time. Appreciate
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Any other old business?
That's all I had on our business.
Commissioners, anything else on your end? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to new business. Any new business?
I don't have anything.
Hearing none, let's move on to property operations.
Larry Williams, Senior Vice President of Properties and Operations.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Afternoon.
No. It's like help.
All right, there we go. So good afternoon again. The purpose of this resolution, it is the Housing Opportunities Through Modernization Act establishes limitations for continued occupancy for public housing. The statute requires that after a family's income has exceeded the over income limit for 2 consecutive years, that a PHA must either terminate the family's lease within 6 months or charge the family an alternative non-public housing rent. HABD instituted a policy to adjust the rent of over income families starting in 2021. And the recent Federal Register and PIH notice provided additional guidance for PHAs to implement this requirement. So basically, if the residents have had income for consecutively over 2 years, and it's over the income limit, we either have to establish a new lease for them under the HUD guidelines, or they have 24 months to determine if they want to move out of housing or if they want to stay. Any questions so far? Okay, so basically, this allows us to establish this this policy that is consistent with the Federal Register. We've already pulled the names and households, and we have once this is approved, we will start reaching out to the households to work with them to put them on the plan to see what direction they want to go into.
Okay, excuse me.
Hmm?
You already pulled the names of some of the families, so is this going back 2 years, or is this gonna start from now?
Oh, this is started January 14th of 2023. Any other questions?
I don't think so. I think you've explained it well in the past, and I think
Mhm.
I think you have a good plan, and your team has a good plan to assist the families in making the right decision for them. So that's kind of, from my perspective, what I was most concerned with, and you've done a good job addressing that. So
Thank you. So I ask for approval for resolution 126850.
Commissioners, if no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the revision to the admissions and continued occupancy policy for public housing over income policy as proposed by Mr. Williams.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Any opposed, say nay. The motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you.
Moving on to the rental assistance programs.
Angie Drake, Director of Rental Assistance Programs.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Today's request for board action is for approval of the award for contract for call center services for the Housing Choice Voucher Program. A request for proposal, which is number P 23004, was published, and it was emailed to 357 contracting individuals. Also, it was available in our HABD central office, posted within HABD and on the Housing Agency Marketplace website. Lastly, this solicitation was advertised in the Birmingham News and the Birmingham Times papers. There were 15 contractors/individuals who submitted proposals in response to the RFP, and all were deemed responsible and responsive. The proposals submitted were evaluated by an appointed evaluation committee, and Gilson Call Center Services received an overall score of 88 points and submitted a responsive and responsible offer. Therefore, we recommend the award of the contract to Gilson Reception and Call Center Services to provide this service for the Housing Choice Voucher Program.
Commissioners, any questions, concerns? I don't have any questions. I think the only two items that I'd kind of like to continue to make sure we follow up on. One is exactly the manner in which this will be communicated. I believe we talked about a little bit in the past. We just want to make sure that the board is updated on kind of what your strategy is there. It doesn't have to be now. I know you need it to be approved, and then you can decide from there. But I think by the next board meeting, if we approve this today, I'd like to get an update on the messaging strategy to the residents and how this is basically getting the word out, what this is.
Sure. we can do that.
And then the second is kind of another follow-up, just because this is somewhat of a new, for us, route, I guess, and how you handle calls. I think some sort of periodic update on what we think, how we think this is going.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe 3 months after the service has started, even though it's not a conclusive, of what or how to expect, but it's the beginning. And so we can know from initial meetings if things are working, what we need to amend and things like that. But we can give you an update next board meeting about the marketing strategy.
I agree. I think 3 months is probably a good, healthy time to see how it goes. And then, from there, we can build out some further updates, but I would appreciate that if it passes. Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the award of contract for call center for the Housing Choice Voucher Program to Gilson Reception and Call Center Services.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Next up is Policy and Government Affairs.
Seth Embry, Chief of Policy and Government Affairs.
Good afternoon.
good
Afternoon.
No.
So I'm here today to request board action to approve the award of contracts to legal firms to provide legal services to HABD. As you know, HABD uses external law firms to provide legal services to the agency in a variety of categories: general counsel, litigation, employment, real estate, and evictions. There we go. And so in January of this year, we published an RFP, a request for proposal, to solicit proposals from firms to provide these legal services to the HABD. We did receive responses from 5 firms. They were all responsible and responsive. And then a selection committee appointed by the president pursuant to our procurement policy evaluated the submissions. After evaluating all the firms, staff recommends contracts be awarded to the firms listed here on the screen. For general counsel and litigation, Petway French and Ford LLC. For real estate, Reno and Kavanaugh, and Wiles, Jordan, Ratliff, and Brandt. Those are 2 firms. And for evictions, Cloud, Willis, and Ellis. Prior to the consideration of the responses, we did extend the employment firm's contract for an additional year, so they weren't considered, and they're not included in this board action today. Just as a note for economic impact, so depending on the services that are provided, the funding for those services are going to come from a variety of different programs or budgets here at the Housing Authority. It could be COCC, real estate, or capital funds, admin fees if it's a rental assistance program matter. So I just wanted you to note that.
Thank you. Any questions, commissioners? Thank y'all for the hard work on this. And at this time, hearing no questions or concerns, I will entertain a motion to approve the award of contracts for legal services as proposed by Mr. Embry.
To approve.
Second.
second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we have 2 items. One is a presentation of those desiring to speak before the Board of Commissioners. We have none that are signed up. I know eventually there might be some that wish to participate in a later presentation, and so we will do that later. So no one has signed up to speak today, so we'll move on to the next item, which is the executive session, which we will not be having because we don't need to. And so we will move on past that item. Last but not least, most important thing we're talking about today outside of the lives of our residents, and that is we're recognizing today the retirement of Commissioner Lewis from the Board of Commissioners. She will not be leaving her post as on the Resident Advisory Council for Freedom Manor, but she is carving out a little extra free time moving forward and is going to leave us on the dais today. So this will be her last board meeting, but what we really want to do is recognize the time, the dedication, the love, and the service that you have provided to this agency, the residents of HABD, and the city of Birmingham. And so we just commend everything you have done for us. And I can say personally, as someone has looked up to you since the moment I got on this board and has looked up to you as a mentor and someone who has provided a sound voice of reason and an advocate for all the residents in our properties It's been an honor to serve with you. And I just want to thank you for everything you have done from my personal perspective, but also on behalf of this board and this agency. And I know we have many others that want to speak today, but I'll kind of leave with one little anecdote. The other day, we had a really special presentation in regard to our choice grant program over at Smithfield that we're hoping to receive at some point, if we are lucky enough. And there was this really sweet presentation that was made. It was a video of what the day in the life of a resident at Smithfield would look like if we were to receive the grant, and what would happen in her life. And so it was a young girl, maybe 6 years old. And, it was a sweet video that ultimately concluded with her. She went through some challenges and some triumphs, but ultimately she became the president of the United States. And Dr. Hood brought it up at another meeting we were at recently this week, and saying that often we get stuck looking at spreadsheets and budgets and this really high level stuff. And that video was sweet in the way that it said, well, this is what actually happens if you give us this money. This is what happens if you actually do this development. We don't always have videos, but we've always had Commissioner Lewis on our board to tell us what really happens in the lives of residents if we make this change, if we provide these funds, if we make this decision. And that's vital to what we do up here, but it's vital to what we do as an agency. And you've always been such an advocate for the community and for the residents that you will be sorely missed. I know you will not be going away far, and you'll know how to find us. But I just want you to know how much we appreciate that and how vital it has been to everything we do. So thank you for your service. And I know others, I would like to open the floor to my other fellow commissioners to say any words that they would like, and as well as Ms. Foster. And then I know there are others here today that would like to speak as well.
I'll keep it real short because I know it's a long line of people that want to speak. I thank you, Commissioner Lewis, for everything that you've done. I've learned so much from you. Thank you for feeding me and telling me to come by and get plates.
Yeah.
I still need to come by there and play some bid whist with y'all. So thank you.
Okay.
I'm
Bid
the,
with and dominoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the one that don't like to talk much, but
Okay, yeah.
yes, I've loved Commissioner Lewis since the day I met her, and was before the Housing Authority, because I've done some work in Smithfield and Freedom Manor. Like I said, get my brother out there to dance at my building, and she's always been a supporter and advocate, and she's definitely been an inspiration to me, because one thing my mama's always told me, take care of my senior citizens. Don't let nobody do nothing to your senior citizens. And I've always loved how she took up for her community and advocated for her community, and especially the senior citizens in the area. And I just love you. I appreciate you. I adore you. And you are definitely an inspiration to me.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. I just want everybody to know that all change is not bad change. I'm not on the board, but there's good change too.
So Commissioner Lewis, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being that supporter. Thank you for being that voice of concerns for the residents, the voice of interest for the residents, and the education that you provide to the residents. Because without your voice, many of our residents would not have the direction that you give them. And so I just appreciate the phone calls that you provide to me when those concerns come to you, and you always assure, before I tell the residents, I want to check with you first, Ms. Foster, and make sure this is right.
Yeah.
And so that is someone to ensure they bring the information back to you, the appropriate information, whether sometimes we want to hear it or not. It's the truth and the facts that you want to provide, and ensure that, we're making the right decisions. So thank you for that. And I look at this as giving you more time to do the work that you want to do with the residents across the community. So thank you so much. And we look forward to that continued work and support and all those great phone calls.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Commissioner Lewis, thank you for your years of service. I wish we had more time to interact, but everybody just speaks so highly about you. You're well supported, but thank you for your service to this housing authority, and you will be missed.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to thank you as well. You have no idea how many people's lives you've impacted. Many who you know and you see, but there are also many who you probably will never know and never see. But your advocacy and those things that the other commissioners, your fellow colleagues have spoken about, those policies that you've put in place, and I see even some of your former commissioners who've worked with you over the years, those policies they put in place will impact in a positive way the lives of the residents of the housing communities. And I speak for someone who has been impacted. I grew up in Montebello Gardens as a young kid. And to sit here with you now as a counsel for this HABD as a product of public housing means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Well,
Well, I know there are a few folks that have come to make a special presentation today for Commissioner Lewis. So I at least like to open up the floor for whomever would like to come speak first. I see former Chairman Davis back there and Chairman Todd. So we could however y'all want to start. And I know there's some other residents and folks in the crowd too who would like to speak. So please feel free to talk.
These gentlemen looking prosperous.
They glowing.
Feel right. We don't.
We got there for a few minutes, so we got to get.
We better hurry up. So my dad is a pastor, so I know never come behind a pastor.
yeah.
So I'm gonna let Reverend Todd go first.
I'm so thankful and so grateful to have the opportunity to be with Commissioner Lewis.
Mhm.
You know, the many years that I served with her, she truly has been an anchor for the board during my ministry here.
Yeah.
And not only that, you know, I can tear with you right now because of the fact that you are so gifted with a great love for compassion. You're just not a sitter.
Yeah.
You are a worker.
Mhm.
And you have a great insight of what people need, and you bring it right to the board, and you make sure that it manifests itself. We don't laugh back there. We don't get together back there and talk about issues. And when we came out of there, we came out of there together. I never had a word that was different or indifferent. We was able to agree with one another and come out and be a team. Birmingham has a gift through you
Yes, they do.
for all that you have done. But you know something? God ain't through with you yet.
Mhm.
We're gonna continue to work because that's what we're supposed to do as we continue to move from one endeavor to another endeavor. We don't stop because people always gonna need your service. You are blessed, love you. I'm praying God continue blessings upon you. May God bless you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Todd.
So I'm gonna try to keep this short. I really am. And I'm gonna try to keep from crying. This is my buddy right here, y'all.
Yep. Yeah, but he-
So I tell you, so it's good to be back here in the august body with my former colleagues. I tell you, it feels real good to be back. It really does. So the Chairman Pantazis, Vice Chairman Thompson, Commissioner Hood, my good friend Commissioner Barnes, and the honoree. We just want to tell you how much we love you. So if you guys could oblige me just for a couple seconds. I want to take you back to, maybe 9 years ago when I first,
10.
somewhere
Yeah.
around there, when I first met Commissioner Lewis down in Freedom Manor. They were having an event, and I met Commissioner Lewis down there, and we just kind of hit it off from the start. And as I continued to go back, we just established a great friendship, a great working relationship. I would go down there and eat and hang out with the residents. And when Commissioner Ford left to go to Michigan, that left an opening on the board. Former Mayor William Bell came to me and said, "Hey, who do you think would be a good person to serve on the board in the commissioner's role?" And it didn't take me 5 seconds to realize that you were the person for the job, because I seen you work. I saw what you were doing down in Freedom Manor, and I knew that you were just the person that we needed to make our team whole. And so once you came on the board, you just really, you hit the ground running. And I'll tell you this, Commissioner Lewis, she has a way of getting on you without getting on you.
Yeah.
You know? And so sometimes I would call her and she had a nice way of telling me that I was wrong.
Yeah.
But she never would really tell me, "Hey, you're wrong." But she said, "Hey, you might want to do it this way."
Yeah.
And so I just appreciate your friendship. A true friend will tell you when you're wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you, telling me sometimes when I need to slow down. You would tell me, "Hey, I'm with you, but
Yeah.
We're not gonna do it that way.
But, yeah.
We're gonna do it this way.
But,
And I appreciate that. I appreciate you know, telling me, hey, you know, I'm gonna support you, but we're not gonna do it that way. And so I just thank God for you. Thank God for your loyalty. I just thank God for everything that you've done here, you know, with the Housing Authority, the Birmingham District. And I'll have to admit, you know, when I was in your seat a couple of years ago, when my time was up, this just kind of symbolizes Commissioner Lewis because she's all about the work. You know, she don't want to be all in the videos. She don't want to be all ribbon cutting. She doesn't want to do that. She just wants to do the work.
yeah.
And I remember I told Commissioner Lewis, I said, well, hey, I'm having my little going away event. And she told me, she said, I won't be coming.
Mhm.
And she said, I'll be down in Smithfield. I'll be cooking.
Exactly, yeah.
She said, I'll be cooking greens and whatever else. I said, I'll be cooking for 300 something people
Yeah.
because that's where I need to be. And that's your ministry, the people. You never lost sight of the people. And so, yeah, my feelings were a little hurt, but you know what she did though?
Your
She said, you know
stomach
what?
was full later.
Yeah, she said, you know what? I want you to come by Smithfield.
Yeah.
And she put a token in my hand. And she said, hey, I'm where I need to be. I love you, but I got to feed the people. And so I just thank you for just being who you are. And this is not hyperbole, but you're one of the nicest ladies I've ever met in my life. You are just that type of person. You are a virtuous woman. And it's been my pleasure to serve alongside you, sit with you and be a part of you. And like Reverend Todd said, your work isn't done. You got work to do.
Oh, yeah.
You got plenty of work to do. And so you just keep going. And I know your time on the board here is over, but you got residents to look after, and they're counting on you.
CPAB.
That's right. They're
Yeah.
counting on you. They're counting on you, and they need you. You know, public housing is not the way it used to be.
No.
And so we need all the help we can get. And so you're the right person for the right job at the right time. And so I just want to tell you, I just want to leave you with that. I hope I don't get in trouble. Well, I can't get in trouble. I'm not on the board anymore.
Yeah.
So.
That single song.
Yeah, Reverend Todd, my favorite verse in the Bible is Psalms 27:13.
Yeah.
And David said, I have fainted lest I believe to see the goodness of God in the land of the living. And I've seen the goodness of God in you on this earth. And so I just want to tell you, just keep going, keep doing what you're doing. Don't just continue to be who you are. Stay faithful. You've been faithful over so many things. You know, you've been faithful over your family.
Yeah.
You've been faithful over the Housing Authority. You've been faithful over the CPAB. And so just well done. Well done, my good and faithful servant.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you.
Amen.
I don't know if y'all know, but pastors have at least 2 or 3 endings before. I just want to say, first of all, I want to recognize the commissioner, Talia, and all the rest of the board, Dr. Hood, and other commissioner, and also our director, Sister Foster,
Yeah.
director, CEO Foster.
Yeah.
I get that sister thing, y'all know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say much. You know, don't y'all ever say that the pastor talk a whole lot, 'cause he took a lot of this stuff. But again, I don't really have much more to say. Again, I love you. May continue to be blessed the way you are being blessed. May God continue to be with you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
And to our legal team, hey, y'all do a great job. It's good seeing y'all.
If anyone wonders why we used to carve out 3 hours for our board meetings, for those in the room that desire to speak, please continue to come on forward.
You know what I was going?
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
Good
Afternoon.
Those that I've seen before and some of those I've never seen before. My name is Bertha Manning. I am the vice president at Freedom Manor. Miss Lewis knew me before I really moved there by way of Barbara Merchant.
Right.
And I
Exactly.
point you out, you know I will. And she asked me to be the vice president And I was like, no, ma'am,
No,
no,
yeah.
ma'am. I just want to live here. I be gone too much. I used to travel a whole lot. And that was my reasoning for not wanting to be in. But she eventually convinced me. She did. And I love living at Freedom Manor. I'm gonna tell you that now. I don't plan on going anywhere until he say so. I mean that. I'm gonna read something to you. First, I want to say this. When a task has once begun, never leave it until it's done. Be a labor great or small. Do it well or not at all. And Miss Lewis, I really, really see and believe you have done a very good task with the board. I believe that. This is my first board meeting, but I know most of you. I also want to say this. Where you stood when you were old is how you sat when you was young. That's you. That's you. That's you. Always when you're departing, it gives good pleasure. It always gives good pleasure when you're entering, and it gives good pleasure when you're departing, because time says so. Time is the overseer of all things, but God is the overseer of time. And that's what makes it good. That makes it good. Miss Lewis, I just love you. She fusses at me. She hollers at me. And I just, okay, Miss Lewis, bye.
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to say that.
Okay,
I
good.
see her
Thank you.
all the time. I talk to her all the time.
Yeah.
I call her sometimes just to say, how you doing? She said, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
It wasn't me. Yes. Okay.
And that's it.
Thank you, Bertha.
Oh.
You're a sweetheart.
We get home. but
Yeah.
That's a different story. That's a different.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's- Oh. Well, here comes another preacher and they're back there hollering 2 minutes because I had my book. Oh, yeah. Okay. I like to keep my mind on what I had to say because you just don't know. She's like my family. When I first came into Freedom Manor, her children and her adopted me. I was in the hurricane in 2011. When I came to Freedom Manor, I had nothing but the clothes on my back, and they took me in. And we have had a special relationship ever since. I just love her. So quickly, I'm not gonna have, as I close 3 times either. A woman that has been president of Freedom Manor Resident Council for 16 years. And in 2016 was appointed to the HABD Board of Commissioners and recently has been elected president of the Council President's Advisory Board. The Bible says to give honor to whom honor is due. Certainly here before us sits one deserving of honor. Regardless of how tired she is, the pain she feels, or sickness, whether her position on an issue is popular or not, whatever the issue, she tackles it head on. She has no problem contacting Ms. Foster or members of the Board of Commissioners when she needs additional assistance with tackling a resident's concern. She has certainly tried to improve the quality of life for the residents of HABD. Can I get resident council, Freedom Manor, stand up for me? Okay. So the psalmist said, friends and loved ones may give you flowers when you're sick or on your deathbed. But I'd rather have just one tulip now than a blanket full of roses when I'm dead. So Miss Lewis, Freedom Manor's Resident Council and all the residents of Freedom Manor want you to know that we want to give you your flowers while you yet live so that you can see the beauty that they bring. We're going to speak kind words to you while you can hear them so that you can feel the comfort that they bring.
Mm.
What are we going to say? Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for your unselfish service to all of us. Thank you for your mentorship to the Resident Council Board. We love you, and we pray that God gives you many more years of service to your fellow man. And we will try to remember to speak kind words of comfort and give you our flowers of praise and thanksgiving as you live. May God continue to bless and keep you with our prayer.
Amen. Wow.
The Board of Commissions,
I love it.
to the honoree, my friend Ms. Lewis. To others, I'm Sister Barbara Merchant.
That's it.
From Harris Homes. Me and Ms. Lewis been friends for many years, many years. And Ms. Lewis, your work has just started.
Mhm.
Cause see, now you gonna get more calls that you, my air out, my water don't work.
Yeah.
Changed my life up.
Yeah, yeah.
My doorknob don't work.
Mhm.
So you gonna get more calls. You just started. And you know I love to give gifts. Everybody know that.
Yeah.
And I went this morning
Oh.
and
yes,
who was talking about the transit. The bus don't have no problem with me. As long as I can get to Walmart.
Yeah.
And run my little stores down there.
Yeah.
It's good with me because I don't have to come to town. So the bus is good with me.
Yeah.
I've been on there this morning.
Oh, wow.
And my car says, some call it retirement. Some call it a second career. Some call it freedom. Whatever you call it, hope it be the happiest time of your life. Love, your friend, Barbara Merchant.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you won't have to call me too much now.
But-
like you do, early in the morning, late at night, because you can't get me. So
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy your gift and your retirement.
Thank you, Ms. Merchant.
Thanks. That is great.
Yeah. You finished.
It-
Okay.
If there are no others in the room that wish to speak, or,
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that should come on.
oh, yeah, let's come on up.
Hello, everyone. How are you all
Hello.
today? My name is Hylea Davis. I am Miss Lewis's youngest granddaughter.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, she is retiring. Never thought I'd see the day, but that doesn't mean she's gonna stop.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I have met plenty of people's grandmothers, elders, and I've seen them, you know, they knit, they have hobbies, they crochet, some do macrame. Well, my grandmother runs things. And, you know, back in 2020 when COVID hit, I was like, okay, she'll finally slow down, you know, maybe take some time, relax, just enjoy, you know, being a senior. No. Aaliyah, can you come over and set this laptop up so I can join this meeting on Zoom? So I know this is not the end of her career. I'm going to be at her house, you know, helping her prepare for another meeting, probably next week. But I just would like to thank you guys for being with her on this journey. And it's so lovely to finally meet you all. I've been with her at Freedom Manor since I was a baby, and I'm 20 now. So I've seen it before it was renovated and after, and I hope she stays there. And I hope the relationship she has with you guys never ends.
Thank you so much.
Aw.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Just yeah.
Turn
We got
around.
Facebook. Oh,
Okay.
oh. A new Facebook. But,
Yeah.
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 You go.
Yeah.
I know.
If there's no others that wish to speak in the audience, I think there are some on Zoom who would like to. So I'd like to open up the floor for anybody else that would like to offer a word of congratulations to Miss Lewis.
Oh,
She said, she said, "I love you so much, mommy."
I think everybody offered them in the chat,
oh, okay,
but I think that will
okay.
conclude, except for one last item here. Want to present it there, or do you want to?
You want to come down to the floor?
Can we present something to you, Commissioner Lewis?
Oh, my God, I gotta go.
All right, Ms. Lewis, we have a award we want to present to you. It reads as follows. Presented to Willie Jean Lewis, HABD Board Commissioner. This distinguished award is in recognition of your years of visionary guidance. And we got all your flags. Which there are many. This distinguished award is in recognition of your years of visionary guidance, exceptional leadership, and unconditional commitment to serving as a member of the Board of Commissioners for the Housing Authority of the Birmingham District. Thank you for your passion for improvement and significant contributions that have enhanced the quality of life for the residents of our communities. We thank you for your dedication throughout the years. And it ends with a quote from Maya Angelou. If you're going to live, leave a legacy. Make a mark on the world that can't be erased. Thanks so much.
They say the flowers while you can smell them, right?
I can't. Okay. First of all, it's an honor to be recognized like this, because you know I always like to work in the background. I never like any kind of recognition. So this is a shock. I can't speak, y'all, because I'm a bit nervous. But I want to thank everybody that spoke. I want to thank the board for working with me. It has been a pleasure. I'm working with the present board and the past board. It has been an honor. This is what I like to do. I like to stir up trouble. I like to try to get me in good trouble, but I like to stir it up. I just like to let people know that I know what's going on. That's it. Thank you, everybody. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're taking a picture. Okay.
Everybody.
You don't want to? It's the best seat anyway. It's comfy. Come sit right here.
I've been informed we have one last speaker on Zoom. Ms. Cheryl Davis would like to speak.
That's my firstborn.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cheryl, her oldest daughter, but the boss is on the line also, my sister Kathy. She's the boss in the family. But I'd just like to thank each and every one of you for accepting my mom for who she is, which is a humble person. Leadership all the way. I see where we, her children, get our tenacity to push forward and do what we have to do as humans that's walking this earth. Some of you people I have met, but I'm glad that, I know she loves this job here, but we need our mom.
Oh,
We'll come to Birmingham because we're in New York. We'll come there and she's like, I'm on a Zoom meeting. We can call. I'm on a Zoom meeting. I'm on my way to the commissioner's office. Amen. But we appreciate who she is in our lives. Amen. She shows good leadership to people on the outside as well as her family. And Mom, we just love you. Now we'll get to spend a little more time with you because you're not on 50 million meetings. Love you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Terrain, I think we have one last speaker, Miss London.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm her other daughter. I'm the baby girl, but I'm the boss.
Yes, she is.
So I'm still here at work. Here's my class. They want to clap.
Oh, yeah, her class. Oh, yeah,
Right here.
yeah.
So I get it honest. I get it from my mother because, as you know, she used to be an educator as well. So she is the giant, and we follow. It says that we all stand on the shoulders of giants. And my mother is a giant. She's a leader. She's a mentor. She's an encourager. So everything that you seen in her, we saw it first. So congratulations, Mom. Love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
On that note, we'll conclude this portion of the meeting, and just Commissioner Lewis, thank you from all of us. Thank you.
Okay, my daughter, I just talked to her since I was here.
Everyone here will be doing a reception in the break room immediately following the meeting. So I don't want the food to get cold. So if the last item on the agenda is to adjourn, so I'll at this point entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? This meeting is adjourned.